Welcome back to Plan First Live. I'm Sean Larkin. Today, we're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of bathroom design. One often thinks a bathroom is probably the last thing you think about when you're designing a home, but the smaller the space, the more difficult the design is actually. We'll have a look at a couple of things today. Obviously a bathroom, you've got to be very mindful of privacy, the position of the door, the position of where the bathroom is actually located within your footprint. That's also important. Things like ventilation, lighting, having enough space around the fittings so that you don't, fall over the bathtub when you're trying to get to the vanity. Things like your materials, the durability and the water resistance of those materials. Your drainage, preventing flooding in bathrooms is important. Often it's overlooked when designers specify the drawings. So the first thing we're going to look at today, and this is the biggest no-no in architecture when it comes to bathroom design, never, ever, ever place the toilet directly in front of the door in the line of sight. For a family bathroom or an ensuite, avoid this at all costs. A couple of things that you can have a look at is you can use partial walls so they don't have to go all the way up to the ceiling. Just to screen that toilet, you can screen it with a vanity. If you're lucky enough to have a large bathroom like this, you can try and put that toilet into its own cubicle or compartment. If you do have a family bathroom and you've got multiple people using that bathroom in the mornings before school or before work, it is possible to have more than one person using that bathroom. Also quite important in a bathroom is you've got your wet zone and you've got your dry zone. So your wet zone would be your shower and your bath, and your dry zone would be vanity, storage units, and your toilet. So make sure that you design it in a way that those are separate. If you don't keep those zones separate, it does become a slip hazard on the floor if you've got a shower going and you've got a tiled floor. And then ventilation, one of my favorites. Natural ventilation is a must. You can have extractors if you absolutely cannot have a window or natural ventilation in the bathroom. In this instance, this is a luxury house, so they do have that beautiful courtyard and they can open those doors entirely. Normally, the bathroom would be at the back of the house or at the side of the house, where you wouldn't have entertainment areas. So there is normally outdoor space that you can utilize. You can make a nice courtyard outside the bathroom. It's quite doable to, just with a bit of clever and thoughtful design, incorporate a little bit of the garden space that you have got into the bathroom. Nice opportunity to put an outdoor shower as well. To make sure that your mechanical exhaust fan and your extraction system is sufficient for the size of your bathroom. And try and put, if you can, try and put that exhaust as close as possible to that shower, preferably on the ceiling above the shower, because that is the space in the bathroom that does get the most steam and the most moisture. And then it can just extract to the outside as quickly as possible without actually steaming up that whole bathroom. The reason we like natural ventilation and we insist on extraction in bathrooms is it does prevent mold. It also helps with bad odors and moisture damage, of course. You want to extract the moisture from the air as quickly as possible so that it doesn't damage your materials that you've got in there, specifically your vanities. Materials on the floor, again, make sure that they're non-slip tiles if you are going for tiles. Paints as well, that's interesting to just note, is make sure that you use paint that is suitable for a bathroom. Then lighting, it's important to layer your lighting. So you would have your ambient lighting, and then you'd also have task lighting, specifically in front of the mirror. You want your light to come from the front, so that when you're standing at that mirror, your face is fully lit. If it does come from above or from behind you, it does cast shadows on your face, and it's not the best use of lighting. So let me just have a look at some of the questions that we have got coming in. What should I plan first in a bathroom renovation? Definitely layout. If you've got a small space for a bathroom, don't try and cram too many items in there. Just be practical, because what will happen is if you try and put too many fixtures into that space, you're going to end up with possibly a door that can't open properly because there's a fitting in the way, or you're going to have to climb over the bathtub to get to the vanity. Sometimes less is more in a bathroom. Keen to know how much storage do I really need in a bathroom. I think storage is underestimated. So always try and, I like to incorporate a vertical cupboard next to the vanity that you can just store those things in. You want to avoid having too much clutter on the surfaces. What are the most common bathroom renovation mistakes? I think rushing selection, and once your layout is 90% fixed, and once your budget is in place, then you can start looking at selections. Just keeping in mind the non-slip tiles, and you want to have a neutral palette as far as possible so that it does remain timeless, the bathroom. And then the last thing you would do is actually your selections, because that is where you can cut back. You might have to just trim it back, or maybe you'd have to sacrifice a little bit on your tile cost to be able to put that nice bath in that you wanted to. And the most important thing is actually the planning aspect of it. Yes, then the clearance around your fixtures. So make sure that you've got enough space that it's not cramped. Toilets, for instance, you would want about 700 to 900 millimeters in front of them to make it comfortable. Make sure you've got enough space when you're standing in front of the vanity as well. If you've got a very small bathroom, it might be better to put a sliding door or a pocket door into that bathroom for additional space. So plan it properly. Put a niche into your shower, have a bit of backlighting, make it a feature like they've done in this image, so that you've got that storage space for your soaps and your shampoos, etc. Drawers, I'm a fan of drawers as opposed to cupboard doors. So just make sure you've got a lot of storage space. It's not going to be in anybody's way, and you can fit a lot into a tall storage cabinet. So just plan that storage in when you're doing the planning. Don't do it as an afterthought. And then the drainage. Make sure that your shower has got a slope towards the outlet. It doesn't have to be a massive slope, as long as there is a slope that is sufficient. And then it just also prevents pooling. You know, even if you don't get water flooding like this, you don't want water pooling in your shower once you finish showering. You want that water out. It's unhygienic if the water does pool and it lies there until it evaporates. And then the common mistakes that get made. Now, this is not the bathroom itself. This is the position of the bathroom within your home's layout. Try and avoid at all costs having a bathroom door facing a living space. And the double whammy on this image is that not only do you look into the bathroom, but you do look directly onto the toilet. You don't want to mix the public space and the private space when you are designing. Again, your wet and dry areas, just make sure that you've got some kind of glass screen so that you don't have water coming into the dry zone. What should I spend more money on in a bathroom? Well, it's going to be a very boring answer. It's important to spend on good waterproofing. And then you would want extraction, natural ventilation. So spend money on things that you don't necessarily see. Good fittings also, but I think things that you use every day. If it doesn't matter how beautiful your bathroom is, if the waterproofing fails, you're going to get a problem with your structure. If you've got a very small bathroom, try not to make it too dark. So rather use lighter colors in a small space, because it does make the room feel bigger. And then don't overcrowd your layout. So prioritize functionality over the features that you want to put in there. And then access to your plumbing. This is very much underrated. Clients don't like having access panels until something goes wrong. Door swings, make sure on your plans you have enough space for that door swing. Alternatively, use a pocket door. They do work well. And then lastly, our topic for next week, we're going to just have a look, why is it that some homes just feel better than others? And lastly, our details on the screen. Any renovation work or new builds, feel free to contact us. There are our details. And I look forward to our topic next week.